Hello, everybody. Welcome once again at Geeks and Around, giving you the roundtable discussions on the entertainment you care about. I am your host and producer, Deanna Jackson. Joining me, as always, my faithful co-host, Matt Moore. What's going on, Matt? Earth to Matt.
Hey, how you doing? Sorry, I was muted for a second there.
Also joining around this week is Allison Whipple, who, yes, is like, I'm right there with you. I support Gus Fring for president, too. It's like, that's a guy that can get things done, dead or not.
Yes.
No more two-faced candidates. Let's pick a candidate with half a face.
That was a kind of a two-faced thing. Also joining us, John Eric. Welcome once again, man. Good seeing you. Let's just go ahead and jump into this. Like we all knew, we discussed on the show before that eventually at some point that Walt would do something that would make him redeem the eyes of anyone. I think we hit that. Like, I mean, I was on my feet during the final scene to this, like, just going, no, don't do it, don't do it. You don't have to do this.
He gave the look. It's the psycho look, looking at the bag full of money and making that decision. He looked in the bag, and I was like, oh, God. Oh, God.
Tell me about it. It's like, I mean, we talked before, it's like, I mean, the parallels of the show, I mean, because you had, what you had before is, like, you had Walt, who was claiming to be doing this for his family and whatnot, but really it was all about his ego. And Mike, who legitimately was doing it for his family and for those that were under him. And Walt took him out. Took him out. Moved him from the equation. It's going to be sad to see Jonathan Banks not on the show anymore. It was like, wait a second. Okay, Matt, do we have any weird conspiracy theories about how Mike's not really dead because he was shot in an obscure part of his body or anything like that, and how he's really alive? Or he was like, let's just get that shit out of the way.
Okay, first off, no, he is dead. However, he is cool enough that he's automatically got zombie status. This is how the zombie apocalypse happens.
Yeah, okay, all right, I'll buy that.
The crossover complete.
Okay. Yes, exactly.
We get to The Walking Dead. Yeah, I'm sure the season finale of Breaking Bad, it's actually the beginning of The Walking Dead.
Exactly.
That explains everything.
It's like, why
the hell the gun is in Walt's trunk?
Yeah, exactly. That's just what I was gonna say. It's like, I mean, you saw the size of that gun. What the fuck else could he be defending himself against other than zombies? Think about it. That's a big fucking gun. I mean, if I were taking down some zombies, I need some shit like that too.
No, but I currently actually do not have for this week any wild accusations, any wild speculation yet. Give me some time. Let's keep going with the hangout, and I'll think of something.
All right, so let's just kick this thing from the beginning. Then it's like you've got. It's like now at least I know why they were named this episode after a Destiny Child song. It's like, I mean, every time it's like I was typing anything or doing anything that involved the name of this episode, which for those of you who are watching was Say My Name, all I could hear is that damn Destiny's Child song.
See, I'm really lucky that it just made me think of the Patti Smith song Money, where it's really a song about doing illegal things to get money, and the ending refrain is Say My Name about 5 or 6 times.
Okay, I'll buy that. Yeah, we're going to go with that.
I'm resisting the urge to go into the YouTube app on the Hangout and actually playing the song for you guys.
Our viewers won't be able to see it anyway. The YouTube app won't work.
Oh, darn it. Well, it would probably get me kicked out of the Hangout anyway.
I would love to have that moment right before the credits rolled on a loop. You're Heisenberg. You're goddamn right I am.
Yeah, it's like, I'll admit, it's like that was pretty epic because now we're seeing Walt try. It's like I mean, he's very much in this empire mindset since Mike is leaving out in more ways than one. He wants these other people down in Phoenix, just like we talked about last week, to go ahead and step into that distribution role. And it's kind of cool how widespread the name of Heisenberg is. It's like, I mean, it's the first time we're seeing these characters, and they're very well aware, even if they didn't want to admit it at first, exactly who Walt is.
Yeah.
Now, how it was portrayed, it seemed to me like Heisenberg was a quote-unquote urban myth. They had heard of Heisenberg, just like but no one had seen him. no one had a verified sighting. Like, that's how it was viewed to me. Do you guys agree?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's the myth that bad guys tell their kids at night. You eat vegetables, Heisenberg is going to get you.
It was ballsy of him to straight out say that he killed Gus. I mean,
definitely.
that was. Yeah, that was ballsy.
Yeah, it was, and it's like, and you saw, it's like, I mean, the last time Walt was out in the desert like that, he was afraid for his life. It's like, even when these guys were talking about, just shooting him or whatnot, did you ever see any fear on Walt's face? I don't think that it's like, I mean, seriously, it's like the idea of dying out there wasn't even one that occurred to him. That could not happen in Walt's mind.
Well, the same thing with right at the end of last week's episode when Mike had a gun to his head and every reason in the world to pull that trigger. And Walt was just like, everybody wins. Smile and everything.
Yeah, the dressing down that Mike gave him at the end of this episode is like, I mean, it said it all. It said, seriously, everything we've been saying in the season of Geeks and Around. That his ego is completely out of control. It's like, I mean, to think about it, it's like, I mean, okay, there's a few things Mike said that I didn't agree with. It's like, I mean, the reason, if you recall, that Walt turned on Gus is because Gus wanted Jesse dead. So it was like he started this war with good intentions. Because like, I mean, Jesse was out of control, and Walt, I think at that point, was seriously just trying to save Jesse.
True. It's true that like Mike has presented a scenario where they were going to keep cooking meth and everybody was going to be rolling in dough and being happy. But of course, there was no scenario where the four of them, the four being Mike, Gus, Walt, and Jesse, were all going to be fine.
Yeah, absolutely not. Like
So, do we think Jesse has long for the world?
Ooh, that's an
I
interesting.
don't know if I can answer that. I want him to live so badly.
I comprehend Jesse getting killed. I just love his character so much, and the thought of him getting killed is heartbreaking.
I completely agree. We've seen, I was like, even out in the desert, that Walt was trying to pull Jesse back in by saying, you have the two best meth cooks in the country right here, and continuously trying to draw them in and manipulating them and doing whatever he can. But it's like, I mean, I think Jesse in a lot of ways has moved beyond that. It's like, even when Walt's like, you leave, you get nothing, Jesse's like, fine, peace. Fuck you, dude.
Yeah. There's a term for that. He's capitulating.
Do you think? Sorry, I was going to ask. Do you think Walt would actually keep the money, or do you think he has at least enough honor to pay the $5 million once he has it?
Season 2 Walt would give it up. Walt right now, I don't know. Probably not.
Yeah, I don't think so. It's like,
Yeah, I don't think so either.
We've already seen him trying to pull Todd in, sort of like, he's the Sith Master has a new apprentice. Essentially, is what's happening here.
Of course, he's not an apprentice. He's not the new guy because he's super qualified. He's the new guy because he was there.
Yeah.
That's going to be a problem in the end.
Not that Jesse was necessarily super qualified by Walt's standards to begin with.
Yeah, exactly. Like, wasn't he a D student in the chemistry class or an F student? Like, did he even pass?
Yeah, and he was making himself sucked. And now it's like, I mean, Walt may have been saying it to try to manipulate Jesse, but he was right. They are the two best meth cooks in the country. There is nobody better than Walter and Jesse. Nobody.
True.
But what I'm saying is when Jesse started, Jesse wasn't crap, and Todd isn't crap. So maybe eventually Todd could actually be pretty good at it. There's my wild conspiracy theory. I think Todd's trying to steal the recipe to kill Walt.
Ooh.
That would be interesting.
Yeah, we have seen that Todd has hesitated to kill when it suited his needs.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that's an interesting point.
And he's been, I think, even a touch too sycophantic.
Yeah.
You know, he wants to get good at it. He wants to do what's best for this company. He doesn't even want to talk about his pay until he gets good at the craft. I don't know. It's too good to be true for
He
Walt.
sounds like a college kid gunning for a drug internship.
Allison just nailed it. That's exactly what's happening. It's internship with Walt's meth criminal empire. Man, I'd love to see that
on a resume.
Something I was kind of disappointed in is Walt successfully extracting the bug in the keylogger without getting caught. That kind of bothered me because I was hoping that would bite him in the butt.
Yeah, I was actually surprised that worked out so well. It's like, I mean,
He did the same friggin' trick.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
did everybody like pause and like think that maybe Hank was going to turn right back around the second he walked out of his office?
yes.
Oh, that would have been so awesome.
I know. I was really hoping something. It's like, I mean, because we all know that Hank is very deceptive, and that is like, I mean, he seems like, you know, he's kind of just, you know, woo, 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 but he is extremely good at his job. He has a good deductive mind. He can figure shit out. I question how much longer that Walt is going to be able to stay in his blind spot.
Yeah.
Like, it can't be too much longer. It's like, I mean, the coincidences are just piling up, and he's got to start questioning it at some point. He has to. He literally has to.
Eventually. We got 9 episodes. Oh god, Dean Norris knocked it out of the park this week too. I mean, that scene where the I don't know the rank, but his boss dressed him down in the video conference.
His sack.
Yeah, his sack. I mean, anybody who's ever been yelled at by their boss knows that face.
The wall.
And he made his lip quiver. That was an error in judgment. It won't happen again. Oh my god, he was so good.
Yeah, it's like brilliant acting on this show from everyone. It's like I like watching Anna Gunn as Skylar, you know, just slowly doing this descent. Is like that scene where Jesse and Walt went to the car wash to pick up the methadone that was stashed there. It's like, that makes sense for Walt to put it there. It's like, I mean, where in the hell could you keep that freaking thing of the chemical? But it's like, and you see how signed off she was. And you can see.
I'm surprised Mike didn't think of it.
I'm kind of surprised.
Mike didn't know what it was.
Everybody was panicking at that moment. When it happened, I was like, why didn't I think of that? But the pressure was so high, and there was no time.
Agreed. It's like, and also in that scene, it's like, it's like, am I the only one here that felt there's like that could see Jesse kind of just seeing how Walt was treating Skylar, kind of felt for her a bit.
Yeah, I saw that too.
It's the exact same thing he's doing to Jesse right now too. So the two of them kind of have this. Although Skylar can't stand to look at Jesse, they do have this potential if they manage to get another scene together. There's potential for them to maybe even team up at some point.
Jesse, Skylar, and Saul, the anti-Walt.
It's like,
That's my crazy conspiracy theories. They're all going to team up against him.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, that would be brilliant right there. It's like, I mean, it's like Jesse gets a free pass on everything he's done. Skylar gets out of her situation. Yeah, it's like, I mean, especially because, you know, Jesse very definitively wants out. There is no question about this. He does not want to be a part of this anymore. He doesn't want to have anything to do with it. This could be his out. Him seeing that Skylar is, you know, trapped in this position that she doesn't want to be in. What if he reaches out to her and they move forward on this? That would be fascinating. Like,
I completely agree. I think that I don't know. Jesse wants out so badly that he's willing to walk away from $5 million. I mean, it's just strange. I don't think the two of them would go to the cops or anything, though. But I think that they might hatch a scheme.
Yeah.
And between the two of them, I honestly think they could pull it off. It's like, I mean, let's not forget the majority of the good ideas this season has come. Those are Jesse.
Yeah.
Even from how to pull off the train heist, that was all Jesse, and it worked.
And I think and I think Walt recognizes that, and that's why Walt really wants Jesse to stay in, is because of the fact that he's really starting, as egotistical as he is, he still understands that Jesse has been an integral part of the day-to-day operations.
And that he would be a powerful enemy.
Walter White
There's that
is the
too,
Paul
yeah.
McCartney of the meth world, and he needs his John Lennon, or else he's really nothing.
Yeah, it's like we have one of our commenters, one of our regular commenters, like, you should join the round eventually. Antonio's asking, is like, do you guys think that Jesse will ever get his $5 million, period?
Get his what? Oh, get his $5 million?
Yeah.
Oh,
I thought Mike
I
would.
think he will. I think if it, I'm going to guess that it's basically the last episode of the second half of the season. I'm hoping will be Jesse walking away with a bag of money. I'm hoping that that's the end scene.
Yeah, for real. Please let Jesse come out of this, okay? It's like, I think he's the character now. It's like, I mean, since Walt is definitely no longer the protagonist of the series, I think viewers are kind of leaning on Jesse. He's the one that people have an affinity for because he's in this situation that he wants to get out of, and you have an evil mastermind desperately trying to get him back in.
Yeah, I think I've said this before. Jesse's arc in the show is the only redemptive arc in the entire show. He's the only character who's becoming a better person. Everybody else is sinking deeper into this moral quagmire, and Jesse's actually becoming more sophisticated in terms of morals. He's becoming a better person. He's becoming more self-sufficient. I think that's why fans have been identifying with him so strongly, and why we've been rooting for him.
Completely agree. That makes sense to me. It's like, what do you think, Matt?
I think that the whole analogy of you have to bend a sapling to make a tree is what has been happening to Jesse this entire run of the show. Is that things keep happening to him. A lot of those things are because of Walt, and it's making Jesse become his own man, and his own man has morals.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, how do you think it's like Walt's responding to this though? Just seeing Jesse though so centered on breaking away from is like, I mean, they've had this partnership for years, had its ups and downs, but in the end they've always been here. It's like, I mean, how do you think it's even registered to him that he's in this connection?
It's really interesting that Walt will go to such great manipulation to keep Jesse in his grasp, but then with Walter Jr., with his kid, he's like, I'll spoil you and borrow you a fancy car, and then he kind of lets it's like he doesn't want Jesse to have his independence, but he seems a lot less concerned about Walter Jr. and Walter Jr.'s independence and differentiating from the family.
Yeah, it's like, and Matt brought up an interesting point in the chat. Is like, I mean, because Jesse's not completely broke. He doesn't have that $5 million, but he has a little bit of paper. Like, because like, I mean, they've done a few of these before, a few batches. So he has what, like somewhere around $500,000, maybe $750,000.
Yeah, I mean,
Enough to last him a while.
Hey, I just realized
and a
something.
house.
What?
Do you remember that episode last season when Mike beat the crap out of Walt and he was still living at the at his little bachelor pad, and Walt Jr. came and took care of him? He called Walt Jr. Jesse.
Yeah,
Where's Walt Jr. living right now?
with Hank and Marie.
Do you think he remembers that? Remembers being called Jesse?
Maybe. If he just if even one thing happens to remind him, and he mentions it in front of Hank.
Oh man,
That's a very good point. That's a very good point.
And it's like, I mean, because now it's like,
However, I was gonna say is Jesse is a pretty well, I mean not super common, but relatively common name, and it could refer to either a guy or a girl. So it doesn't necessarily mean the same Jesse.
you know, if Hank heard the name Jesse, is like he'd know what Jesse he was talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's had run-ins with Jesse before. It's like, remember, it's like, I mean, he damn near got himself into a shitload of trouble for beating the fuck out of Jesse.
It wasn't damn near. He did get in trouble. He had his badge stripped and everything.
It could have been a lot worse if Jesse would have pursued it.
Yeah.
Could have been a hell of a lot worse.
True.
So I was like, yeah.
Now, how much do you think Hank is going to dial it back now that he's been told to dial it back?
Well,
You kidding? The very first thing he did after he was told to dial it back was say, "Let's go follow the other lawyer now."
it also kind of depends on it kind of depends on if Mike's body ever gets found.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we know that Walt knows how to dispose of a body, but an entire car and a sack of money. Well, a sack of money is pretty easy, but it's like, I mean, you get my point. There's a lot of things.
That did happen to happen right next to a large body of water.
Those can be dredged. That body of water is not that large. We're in New Mexico, remember?
Yeah.
This is not like an ocean. This is not even like one of the Great
Okay, so let's say the thing happens pretty much as Walt expects. You know, Mike has just disappeared, as far as anyone knows, run off or whatever, and that's kind of leaving Hank pretty much in the wind on this. How does the investigation continue from there? It's like, I mean, he can put the screws to the lawyer that he has, but the lawyer that he has, I mean, how much does he know?
The 9 guys, they don't have their hush money anymore.
Good point. Good point. And I think coming from the other side, we're going to see, we're definitely going to see Walt go ahead and try to take care of it from his end. Like he made, even during this week's episode, it's like Lydia knows the list. So definitely her and getting that list is going to be a priority for him to try to go ahead and take care of this problem that he made for him.
Yeah, that was actually it was almost comedic because he had this thing where he was going out and he was killing Mike, but it was almost comedic because as an afterthought he's all like, "Oh yeah, Lydia knows."
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
Why that's so awful? Because it's the first time, I think, in the entire run of the show that Walt has killed somebody or done something terrible that even he couldn't justify to himself.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Even he's like, wow, I didn't need to do that at all.
Well, yeah. I was going crazy because I'm like, oh shit, he's going to kill Mike. And they're having the confrontation. And I'm like, just go talk to Lydia. Just go talk to her. She'll probably be a pushover. What are you doing? Oh, now Mike's dead.
And
I was surprised that he got to drop on Mike at all.
Yeah.
So this is like, I mean, let's go ahead and do a count now. This is, let me see, this is the third person in Jesse's life that he cared about that is dead because of Walt. That's 3. There was Combo, there was Jane, and now Mike.
I would say 2. I would say watching someone die is not the same.
It's not the same, but it is.
I don't think you can draw a direct line from Walt to Combo, but at the same time, Brock he's and a half, you know?
Yeah.
No, Brock, if he finds out about the poisoning and whatnot, but he's not dead. It's like, yeah, so I was like, I mean, he was hurt, but we have 3 that are dead.
Yeah.
I mean, just straight up, flat out dead. Especially this one is like the bond that he formed with Mike. Jesse finds out about this, plus he finds out about the poisoning for Brock. Would he or would he not kill Walt for that?
Oh,
he
yeah.
Prepared to kill Walt even before all that happened. Remember in Showdown, I think it was called. Right after Walt had poisoned Brock, but unbeknownst to anybody else, Jesse came in. with a gun, ready to shoot Walt.
Actually, didn't
And
come in
let's
with
not forget.
just a minor correction. He didn't come in with the gun. The gun was actually Walt's. Walt had left it sitting on the couch. Jesse
Oh.
did. The only reason I know that is because I just recently saw that episode like a few days ago.
I was gonna say, and let's not forget that the Ryson is still in play.
Mm-hmm. Still hiding is like, I was like, what is that? It was like, what? Oh, and one of our viewers, Jake Adams, also commented without a doubt that that Jesse would kill Walt because Walt's ruined his life. Couldn't agree more. But yeah, it's like Ryson is like, was the Ryson at the old place or is it at the house? I'm confused about that.
I'm sure it's at the house.
Yeah, I think it's the house.
Yeah, it'll make the most sense. It's like I just got really confused as to locale then. But going forward-
How quickly does Ryson kill?
I think he said it took like 2 days.
And it's very painful and gross.
What if in our flash forward, Walt is actually has already been hit with the Ryson?
Well, wouldn't he have to take it himself then? I mean, it was
He would be immobilized.
Not if Skylar found it. If Skylar and Jesse figured out what it was.
But in the flash
Jesse
forward, it
would-
looks like he's been on the road for at least a while if he's driven all the way from New England.
Plus, I don't
No,
think he'd be
he-
on his feet and eating Grand Slam breakfasts.
He didn't actually eat it, though. He just paid it and left.
Okay, maybe.
All right, Antonio says the Ryson would take about 3 days. He says it's similar to getting the flu. We'll go with that.
Okay.
But going forward, it's like it's like this is the penultimate episode. We got the mid-season finale coming up. Coming up next. What are we seeing? What are we seeing here? It's like how are the cards going to fall?
Ooh, that's. I don't know. With Todd helping out, helping out Walt, I think that the next episode, will be dealing with Jesse, and I think that's going to be the major storyline right there. It's either Jesse or Hank. That's the only two that can really go.
I think that Walt's priority at this point are going to be the 9, because that's a direct threat to him.
God, I hope you
The
open with a
9,
mic flap.
the 9 seems like a half season type of thing, not a single episode type of thing.
Well, yeah, it's like I'm not saying it's going to be resolved in this next week or this weekend rather, but I'm saying it's like that's the direction he's going to be going. Now the question is like, what's everyone else going to be doing? It's like, I mean, because Jesse's just kind of overwhelmed at this point. It's like, I mean, I don't know if that $5 million means that much to him, or if he's going to try to figure out a way out of this. Then there's like, again, we haven't really seen a lot of Madrigal in a while. They haven't come into play. What else? Yeah, and obviously we're going to see Lydia because she's on the list, and I'm not sure how willing she is going to be to just give that up. I mean, let's not forget, because the whole thing about the list is about tying up loose ends. Lydia is a loose end. It's like, if she gives that list to Walt, why not just kill her? So
I don't know. It's going to be interesting, definitely.
it's like
I
would love
was going to say though.
Go ahead.
Go on. Sorry.
No. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say is with Madrigal, other than her, I think we might be done with Madrigal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Could be. It's like I still. It's like, I mean, just my heart of hearts is like there's got to be more people there that are involved. There's got to. It's like, okay. It's like, here's an interesting one. Well, actually, I can even answer this one. It's like Jake Adams asked, how is Walt going to tell Jesse about Mike? Very simple. He's not. Like, as far as anyone knows, Walt went out there to go give him his bag so Mike could disappear into the sunset and be on his way. And as far as Jesse's going to know for now anyway, that's exactly how it played out.
Yep.
Yep.
And Antonio
Do you
brings
think
up...
Mike?
Hmm?
Oh, I was going to say, do you think Mike might have left some sort of death message? In other words, if I don't call this number once every couple days, a message goes to so-and-so person?
That'd be cool.
Yeah, it's conceivable. Like Mike is always is like because you see it's like in this episode how far he planned ahead. It's like I mean he knew the area he was going to dump his guns. He had his shit together ready to go. He was still listening in on Hank and them long enough to know that they were going to invade his house. Which that scene was hilarious to me. Like they're tearing apart his house and whatnot. He's just chilling there watching a movie, and you could see Hank is just staring at him like, "You motherfucking son of a bitch."
Yeah. Wasn't Hank the one holding that battering ram? Like, oh, let me use it.
Yeah.
He opens the door and it's like, clink. Oh.
And that actually reminds me. It's been a little while since I've been in school, but I believe 1 + 0 = 1. So where did Mike get the second gun when Walt was going after him?
Wait, what?
Walt was chasing him into the greenery, and at this point, Mike had no guns except for the one that Walt had in the bag. But when he caught up with Mike, Mike had a gun. Where did that gun come
Is it really inconceivable that Mike would not have another gun somewhere in his jacket? I mean, it's Mike. If I were fleeing,
I consider him dumping everything but one gun, but one sidearm, yeah.
yeah. If I were fleeing from law enforcement, I'd probably have at least a small pistol on me, or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just don't get it because of the fact that if he had another gun, the second he saw that the first gun was missing, I think he would have used it.
He didn't have enough time. It's like he saw that gun was missing, he turned around and Walt was right there with the gun shooting into his chest.
Hmm.
It's like no, but I feel you though. It's like I mean the gun did kind of just appear out of nowhere, but it's like I mean we know Mike well enough at this point to realize that at any given point here he's carrying. It's like it's not like him carrying a gun is illegal. He's licensed to carry a gun, and it's like remember that episode he went through it. He's licensed to carry a gun in pretty much all the states that Gus did business under. The Chicken Brothers, the Pollo Hermanos.
Yeah.
Not illegal.
I had to stop myself from singing the El Pollo Loco theme song just now.
I appreciate your restraint. All right, we're 35
Oh, you
minutes.
must have heard me sing before then.
I just don't want to. that does not sound like a good plan to me. We're going to go ahead and wrap this up for this week. We'll definitely be back next week for the mid-season finale. And then the Breaking Bad episodes won't be back until, of course, next year. But we've got a lot of other stuff planned. Stay tuned for us on Geeks Around. That's at gplus.tl/GOTR. Until next week, we are ghosts.